Welcome to Pack Talk Podcast, episode 119, Paranormal Legends of 2024. Although these legends were not in 2024, they're historical legends
over
that
centuries.
we have collected for you to be able to tell you what's going on in the world, things you should be aware of. We got a lot of feedback on our Paranormal Legend episode from last year. I got some personal text messages. People loved it. They loved the legends. So we're here again in 2024 for Halloween for the legends. Okay.
Paranormal Legends.
Paranormal Legends. So we're starting off with the legend of the black dogs. All right. There's a couple stories about black dogs. And one of them is the black shuck. And according to folklore, black shuck is a giant, ferocious hellhound with flaming red eyes and savage claws. Now, something to know about black dogs in legends and lores is that they're way bigger than a normal dog. They're way bigger, about the size of a small cow. They usually have red or yellow glowing eyes and ferocious teeth. Okay, obviously. The black shuck has roamed the countryside of East Anglia for centuries, spreading death and terror. The name shuck is derived from the Old English word skucka, meaning devil or demon. There's been many books that talk about black dogs or the black shuck. One of the authors from 1901 describes the black shuck as he takes the form of a huge black dog and prowls along dark lanes and lonesome field footpaths where, although his howling makes the hearer's blood run cold, his footfalls make no sound, which means you can't hear them moving. You can't hear the black shuck moving, right? They move silently. So there have been some confirmed sightings of the black shuck. All right. The most well-known black shuck sighting occurred in two Suffolk churches in August 1577. Confirmed.
Recent.
During a raging thunderstorm, disturbing the congregation at prayer in Holy Trinity Church. The black shuck is alleged to have burst through the doors amid a flash of lightning. The giant hound.
Could you imagine?
Hold on, listen, dude. This shit's crazy. Confirmed.
We're listening.
The giant hound galloped up the main aisle, killing a man on the way.
What?
Simultaneously, the church steeple collapsed. On the way out of the church, the black shuck left scratch and burn marks on the north door. These are known locally as the devil's fingerprints, which can still be seen today.
Oh, shoot.
And there's pictures.
That's evidence.
There's pictures.
Wait, the steeple collapsed?
Yes. Because the black shuck is...
How's this confirmed from 1577?
Hold on. The black shuck is a hellhound, right? A demon dog.
Right.
A demon dog.
So the church collapsed once it
So whatever was going on, they had prayer. There was a storm. The black shuck came into the church.
He didn't like
the
the prayer going on.
Right. Exactly. Demon dog.
Yeah.
Right? Demon. Demonic.
Yeah.
Ran out and left scratch and burn marks on the door.
And killed a man.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But the door, if you look at the picture of the door on Google, you can see burn marks on the door, dude.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like scratches? Like scratch?
It's like burns going up the door, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how you know this shit happened.
That's how you know.
Why are you laughing?
That's how you know. That's
Why are you
evidence.
laughing? You act like you don't believe me, dude.
That's evidence.
Is that like a historical landmark now where
Yeah,
tourists
it
can
is.
go and...
Yeah. You going to go check it out?
No.
That's over in England.
You're not going to go check it out?
I'm not going to go check it. Realistically, no.
All right. The second encounter was in St. Mary's Church, Bungay, where black shuck killed two more people who were kneeling at prayer.
Is this the same time period? Or we don't know?
Same time period. The hound continued attacking many in the congregation with its sharp teeth and claws. Local that day considered the hound to be an apparition of the devil.
Dude.
Intense.
Now the question, is the black shuck real or a myth? There are still reports of sightings of black shuck in the East Anglia region to this day. So beware. The legend of black shuck states that to look into the hound's red eyes during an encounter is fatal, and that death in your family will follow within a year. So if you see the black
means
shuck,
multiple people have died.
death within a year. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
And we have the hard evidence of the burn marks on the door.
Right.
So
That's
we
all you
know
need.
it's legit.
That's all you need.
Good story.
The second tale of a black dog.
Oh.
Okay.
We're not done yet.
We're not done, dude.
Oh, shit.
This is a separate This is now a separate black dog.
Separate
Separate
tale.
encounter.
The second tale of the black dog named Madi Du, a phantom black dog found in folklore from the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man is a small island 30 miles long situated in the Irish Sea, midway between England, Northern Ireland, and Scotland.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar.
Chris's heritage.
I'm familiar.
Chris's heritage. And Chris has been to Scotland. Confirmed.
Mm-hmm. I did see some
Any
black
black dogs?
Mhm.
I did, but I didn't try to approach
Well,
them or
there's a
anything.
difference between a black dog and the black dog.
Right.
The black
what I
dog
saw, I
is
don't
much
think-
bigger,
yeah.
glowing eyes, teeth, and you've lived more than a year, so you're probably
right.
good.
I
Probably
I
wasn't
didn't make
the
eye
black.
contact though. Also,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah, so you're good.
You know.
Moving on here.
Thank God.
Peel Castle was built on the western coast of the Isle by Vikings in the 11th century.
Nice.
And one thing we know about Vikings
They
They
like
love
corgis.
their
from our previous
corgis.
podcast, corgis, dude. Corgis and Vikings. What's so funny, dude?
Nothing.
Corgis
It's just
and
we were all ready for that.
yeah.
Corgis.
Back in
Remix.
the 17th century, the castle was occupied by soldiers. The guard room for the castle was close to the main entrance, and a passage led through an old church from the guard's room to the captain's room. Every evening, the soldiers would take turns in pairs to lock the castle gates and carry the keys through the dark passage to the captain. Now, keep in mind, black dogs, demonic, right? That's their symbolism. They're like hellhounds. What's in this castle? An old church. So we see what's happening here, right?
Mm.
It is said that an apparition of a big black dog with rough curly hair was often seen in the guard's room. At night when the candles were lit, the dog would come down the dark passage and lay down in front of the fire in the presence of the soldiers. The following morning, the dog would disappear back into the passage. The soldiers were terrified of the phantom dog at first, but soon got used to its frequent visits. However, when the time came to carry the keys to the captain, remember they would have to travel from the guard shack down the passage to the captain and hand him the keys. They would always go in pairs. No man would face the dark passage alone. One night, however, a particular soldier had too much to drink. He boasted he was not afraid of the dog and snatched up the keys and headed down the dark passage on his own.
Typical soldier.
The black dog slowly got up from the fire and followed him, when normally the dog would just lay by the fire. So we know what's happening, right? Soon after their departure, terrible, blood-curdling screams were heard from the passageway. A few minutes later, the soldier returned. His face twisted in fear, and he could not speak of what happened. 3 days later, the soldier died, and the black dog was never seen again.
He got his soul.
So we know, again, the black dog, if you see it, death is coming, right? If you look into its eyes, death is coming, right? So that's the second tale.
Well, you said it had curly hair. Is it a doodle?
Don't know.
Could be a doodle.
Could be a Welsh corgi.
Yeah.
We don't
Could
know.
be a Welsh
Confirmed.
corgi. Yeah.
Not confirmed. Could have been a corgi that fought in battle with the Vikings, died in battle, and now its spirit was back.
A black
Mm.
corgi.
Right.
That'd be
And
something.
you know the Vikings, their gods, they did like human sacrifices and shit. You know the Vikings did human sacrifices to their gods.
Yeah.
So maybe this corgi was sacrificing humans to the gods.
More likely that corgi died, came back as a spirit, and inhabited a demonic possession of another bigger dog. So like a
Right.
cane corso, a black
demon dog.
They're like, that's the body figure I need. Like
Right.
I'm a corgi. What
Well,
kind of damage
don't
am I gonna-
underestimate.
I'm not. I'm not
They
underestimating.
were Viking dogs.
But
Mhm.
he wants a bigger. He wants a jacked form. He possesses that.
Yeah.
That's what we see now.
Yeah.
Gives
And
it
then
supernatural
he doesn't
life.
deal
Then
with
in
the
this
devil.
situation, this story, you know, he's laying by the fire like he would have laid with his ancestors, the Vikings. But again, Vikings, they don't fight alone.
No.
They fight as a unit.
Yeah.
And this one soldier, he goes by himself. This corgi's like, this guy's got to learn a lesson.
Yep.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
break the rules, I break you.
Mm-hmm.
Last story of the black dogs. The black dog of Newgate. Newgate Prison in London was originally built in the 12th century. It remained in use for over 700 years before finally being demolished in 1904. The Old Bailey Crown Court was built in its place. You know how these things happen, right? Things get built on top of things that, you know, perished.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Conditions in the prison were always grim and appalling, particularly in the 13th century when a terrible famine swept through England. The famine was so bad that some inmates of Newgate resorted to cannibalism.
Ew.
You got to do what you got to do. During this time, a scholar accused of sorcery and witchcraft was sent to Newgate to await trial. The scholar soon fell victim to the depraved inmates. He was killed and eaten. Again, witchcraft and sorcery with this guy who's now being eaten. Think that's going to go well for you? Shortly after this crime was committed, the inmates responsible for eating the scholar began seeing the apparition of a monstrous black dog within the prison. They were convinced the dog was the sorcerer's spirit, returning to gain revenge on his murderers. One by one, the prisoners were attacked and killed by the black dog. The last survivors were ultimately driven mad by fear and broke out of the prison from fear of the dog getting them. Even though they were free of Newgate prison, they were not free of the beast. It is said that the terrifying black dog sought them out and killed them all. Once all those implicated in the sorcerer's death had been slain, the dog disappeared for the time being.
It was the witch.
We don't know. We can't confirm.
You know what I'm thinking is
So
a
we
lot
know
of
sorcerers,
these.
dark magic,
Yeah.
black dogs, hellhounds.
Yeah.
A lot of these stories are happen, you know, back in the day, like a couple hundred years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have that many situations now, so it's just like
Is it real? That's what you're
what
saying.
was going on back in the
But-
quote unquote
well,
ancient
to-
times
right.
that makes so much spiritual shit go on.
Well, there's a lot more spiritual shit going on back then. Also, that's when like what's the holy wars where the Christians were like
The
killing
Crusades.
the
everybody.
Holy War.
The Crusades.
The Crusades, right? That kind of
Crusades.
shit was happening. Like
Well-
religion back then was way more violent than it is now.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to think too. Like these are, let's just like in this case, a demonic spirit. I mean, I believe there's spiritual realms, and I mean they're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
they're going to calibrate based on the time that they're in. They know that we have this higher levels of technology than they did back then.
Shit's
And
different now.
I mean, they got to be more incognito or whatever.
Mm.
I don't know. What is interesting is like you have you have three stories right here, all talking about very similar themes,
In the same
spanning
area.
over from the 10th century all the way to the 16th century, and it's very
Yeah.
similar. Like there's something there. You know what I
Interesting,
mean?
right?
And it's in the same area geographically.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
Well, that's where a lot of people were. England.
England was where a lot of
Europe.
population was.
Yeah.
That's where the Crusades happened, I'm pretty sure, in that area. That's where the Vikings were in that area, right?
A lot of death.
A lot of death, a lot of
A lot of
destruction,
conquering.
a lot of different religious overlaps.
Yeah.
A lot of spiritual and underworld things underneath those overlaps. You see
A lot
what
of
I'm
spiritual warfare that's going in amongst the other nation. You got the Vikings, which is
Right.
like a pagan religion, right?
Right.
They're coming over to England, which is
Mhm.
a Christian religion. They're
Mhm.
conflicting. The Vikings conquer,
Mhm.
right? And they eventually get basically mingle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you're
once
seeing,
they start marrying each other, your cultures mesh.
right.
And,
I mean, there was
uh,
Viking, like at a point, maybe there might have been a couple, but there was a Viking was the king of England. You know?
Mhm. Rollo?
No,
No,
he was in Normandy.
France.
Normandy.
He was France.
Normandy.
Rollo.
Rollo.
Yeah.
Mm.
So interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
All right, we'll get to our next story, Chris.
Yeah, I'll go next because interesting might be some tie-ins. I don't know.
Correlation.
Might be. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm.
You be the judge of that. All right. So this is from Port Tobacco, Maryland.
Mm.
Is this
Took
one of your
Aaron's
stories?
story.
I emailed mine
Took
out. So
Aaron's
Yeah, he
story.
put
So
the list
I
out.
put my
dude,
list out,
before
so-
you started
Oh,
looking at
she's
your
mad.
story.
Oh, she's mad. You took her Maryland
the Legend
story.
of the Blue Dog. Is that what it is?
Legend
what
of the
yours
Blue
is?
Dog. I saw
Let's
this
go.
one. I saw this one.
I put it in
You
there.
didn't
You
look
didn't
at
I
his
read.
saw
list?
this one.
You didn't look at his list?
No, I got too many invoicing emails. I was bogged down.
Wow. Continue.
If you're looking for buried treasure, I wouldn't go to Port Tobacco to find it.
So Port Tobacco where?
Maryland. At
That's where
nearby,
Aaron's from.
at nearby Rose Hill, a legend has lived on for more than 200 years about buried gold and the spiritual protector. Don't stare at me like this.
I'm just looking at you.
Speaking of buried gold, I have a story to tie off of that.
Oh.
Save it. Save
Whoa.
All
it.
right, continue.
200 years about buried gold and the spiritual protector of that small fortune. The ephemeral guardian of the colonial treasure is not your typical ghost. This spirit has 4 legs. The Charles County's Blue Dog legend has been around for more than 2 centuries, purported to be the oldest ghost story in America. That's debatable. There seems to be some confusion as to whether the story originates from the colonial period or the time of the Civil War. Most versions focus on the 18th century when soldier Charles Thomas Sims and a blue tick hound stepped into one of the many taverns said to inhabit the colonial town. We know the date was February 8th. We know it.
We know
Evidence.
Okay.
What year?
We don't know. Well, that part we don't know.
Okay.
Could be American Revolution time period, could be Civil War time period, but relatively close
we
there.
know it's February 8th.
We know February 8th.
My story
Right.
maybe would have told the year, but
Well, I mean, well, fill us in. What year is it?
I deleted it.
Okay. She already deleted
You're
it.
quick. You're quick.
Most legends place the story just after the American Revolution. Sims, right, who's one of the soldiers here, Sims's tongue was loosed by the libations he consumed, and he began bragging about a quantity of gold he had on his person, along with a deed to property.
Loose lips.
Henry Hanos of Port Tobacco and his friends were listening as Sims enumerated over and over how good his fortune had been. When the soldier started off from the tavern, he got as far as Rose Hill Manor in Charles County before he was confronted by Hanos and his friends, the ones that overheard him, who demanded his money and the deed. Sims was killed in the confrontation, and his blue tick hound was also slain, valiantly trying to defend his master. Legend has it that both dog and man died atop a large stone at Rose Hill. Hanos took his stolen loot and buried it, along with the deed, under a holly tree that grew somewhere along Rose Hill Road. When he went back later to retrieve the treasure, he was confronted by the ghost of the huge blue tick hound. Some versions of the story claim the dog was part mastiff, dogs bred for kings in ancient England. Either way, Blue Dog is a large dog of significant size and girth and could apparently literally frighten you to death, possibly by looking into its eyes, maybe. I don't know.
So a hellhound.
Could be. That's what I'm thinking. After you're telling your stories, that's what I'm thinking, you know? Shortly after this encounter, Hanos took sick and fell fatally ill. Similar. Reports of the Blue Dog's ghost began surfacing in the years that followed the soldier's death. During the American Civil War, General Joseph Hooker, who temporarily led the Grand Army of the Potomac until a disastrous rout at Chancellorsville got him the hook, if you will, pun, from President Abraham Lincoln. From October 1861 through March 1862, Hooker maintained his headquarters at this Methodist church. The fascinating side note to this story, okay, side note, we don't need to learn about hookers.
At a church, though.
Nice.
At a church, yeah. Well, that's where hookers came from, was Hooker. Hooker had some
Right.
some questionable company.
Right.
Some of Hooker's men heard the Blue Dog legend and decided they would find and dig up the buried treasure. When they went to abscond with the money, they allegedly found themselves confronted by a luminous specter of a huge blue tick hound who aggressively challenged them to such an extent that they gave up the ghost. They gave up to the ghost. Olivia Floyd, the Confederate spy who lived at Rose Hill Manor during the Civil War, confessed to the Port Tobacco Times in 1897 that she had encountered the ghost of the Blue Dog. So this is the property. She's living at this manor where the dog and this guy died. Mike Messner, owner of Blue Dog Saloon in Port Tobacco, said he bought the property in 1991 when it had an old grocery store on one side and a bar on the other. Messner pays tribute to the legend with a framed version of the tale and a large oil painting of the Blue Dog guarding the stone where his master died. The stone is still there, but Rose Hill Manor, where it is located, was recently purchased by new owners and is now closed to the public. The last known recorded incident of someone encountering the ghostly beast occurred in 1971, when the howl of Blue Dog was heard.
That's pretty recent. Confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed evidence. A dog howled, so had to have been the blue
Had
tick.
to have been the blue
I wonder
tick.
if when the guy and the dog were killed, they obviously went to the underworld, or their spirits did, and then the dog was sent back as a version of a hellhound,
Maybe.
to guard that specific location, because where the traumatic death happened. Right now, the spirit's tied to that location. Right, so now the hellhound is sent back.
Could be.
Maybe. It's a good guess.
Good guess.
I don't know.
Good guess.
Why would demons concern themselves with some buried treasure, though?
Yeah, but they
There's
said
something
they see
about the
him as a
treasure.
blue. They see him as a blue tick. The guys went back to
That's
dig
what
up the
it's-
treasure.
that's-
They're
yeah.
still seeing him as a blue tick.
As the owner's
I know,
dog.
but he's
That
sent
was the
back
dog.
as a version.
But
of a
some
hellhound.
people had said that it looks like a mastiff type dog too.
So
I'm saying
Which,
he didn't
you know-
get, he didn't get
Yeah, yeah.
transformed to an actual hellhound, but a version of a hellhound.
yeah.
You see
Sure.
what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Interesting.
saying. And there may have been something that was within that treasure to tie the need to protect the
Could be.
treasure.
We'll never know because we can't find it.
You can't get
Yeah.
to it.
They haven't dug the treasure
You just
up,
got a loyal dog, you
or
know?
they can't find the treasure.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Good story.
Good story.
You know what'd
Erin?
be funny is that in all these cases, there just happen to be these wild dogs that are just wreaking havoc. Like just some wild dog busts into a church, kills people. Like hellhound.
No, that was a hellhound because it left burn marks on the door, dude.
Yeah, you're forgetting their critical
Right.
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
evidence.
Right.
All right.
All
Erin?
right. In the day of horse and wagon, there was a man who left his home without his trusty dog. One night he must have been in a rush as he was whipping his horse on the old gravel road that takes you to Folly Lake. This is in England.
Mm.
Can I get the headline on this?
What's
In a
the-
second,
Oh, that might be something.
Okay, so you're building up to it.
She's not giving it to you yet.
don't interrupt my storytelling.
Go ahead.
Okay?
theatrics.
The old Londonderry Bridge back then was the only one lane. And just before he reached it, he lost control of his wagon.
Drunk.
Okay?
Oh, definitely drunk.
Or he
Sad-
was whipping the horse. The horse was pissed, so he just ran him off the edge.
Sadly, since he had been traveling so fast, the wagon tipped, rolling several times, killing both the man and a dog on the bridge.
A random dog? It wasn't
Not
that.
his dog because
No,
he left.
he
He
left
left
without
without
his
his
dog.
dog.
Right.
He left without his dog. Rumor has it that the wheel had rolled over the dog's throat, which severed its head completely.
Dang.
Hence,
Oh, God.
the headless dog.
There's your title,
I thought you were
Ben.
going to say hound. Headless
Okay.
hound.
That would have been
Well, it
better.
could be a
That's a
hellhound.
better headline.
Yeah.
Once we
Headless hound.
finish the story, we'll know if it's a version of a hellhound or not.
Yeah.
There has been a confirmed reporting that a lady, Miss Tinney, was out walking alone one night down that road when suddenly a dog appeared beside her.
Mm.
In a heel position.
For a brief moment, she was startled, but just as she began to relax, the dog looked up at her, and what she saw would stay with her for the rest of her life.
What did she see?
She said the dog's eyes were spinning like a child's toy. That's the tops.
creepy.
Well, it wasn't a hellhound because she lived to tell the story.
Or did she? We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
It was the most disturbing thing she had ever witnessed in her life. Screaming, she made her way home, and even though she lived to a ripe old age, she would
not a
never, my lisp kicks in. She would never travel that road again after dark. In Christmas night, 1968, there was a 14-year-old that had just come from visiting a friend who happened to live a further up from the same road that Miss Tinney lived on. Of course, that was not on their mind as they walked this road hundreds of times over the years. Feeling a little bit anxious to get home for Christmas, it was a beautiful moonlit evening, and she was enjoying their walk when something rubbed against their leg. They were surprised when they looked down to
see a dog in heel position.
to see
This
a
dog's
dog
trained.
that they did not recognize, but it looked almost purebred, not like a mutt. They thought they got a dog for Christmas. Yep, that's how much.
Surprise.
So they picked it up. When they go to pick it up, it vanishes.
Eyes?
Spinning. Yep.
Confirmed?
They look down. They look for the dog. They're looking around. There's nothing there. They look down to see if they could find the paw prints, to see what direction it went. None to be found. Yep. They could see their footprints were at least an inch deep because it was snowing on Christmas. None for the dog. There we go. The headless dog.
Wow.
Good story.
Thanks,
The
guys.
eyes were
Interesting.
spinning.
After the death, though, the dog had a head.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said.
Well, it probably. I mean, its eyes were spinning because it had a concussion from the wheel.
Yeah.
Just crushed its head.
Oh, that lady
the
probably
breed,
would.
the breed was listed as a bull terrier.
Really?
Yes.
Can you imagine a bull terrier looking at you with its eyes just spinning around?
You've seen one of those before.
Yeah, yeah,
Then he bit you.
yeah. I think he had his eyes closed though when he bit me.
All right, Ben, what do you got for us?
I got a classic. You ready for this?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
This is the tale of Poogan the porch dog.
Ooh, Poogan's porch.
You know this
I think
one?
we've heard this one.
You know this
I've
one?
heard of Poogan's porch.
I give it the quick 411. Locals of an affluent neighborhood in Charleston, South Carolina will tell you that back in the 1970s, the most well-loved local of all was a street dog named Poogan. He would wander from house to house, eating whatever he was given and napping on any porch he could find.
Sounds like Chris.
His favorite porch was that of the large Commodus mansion at 72 Queen Street, where the owners would always treat him well. One day, however, the couple moved and sold the mansion, leaving Pugin behind to sleep on their porch.
What's the location of the current restaurant?
72 Queen Street.
That's the location of the restaurant
That is
now?
That's the mansion.
Yeah,
that
they turned it into a
porch he
restaurant.
was sleeping on.
Same location.
They sold it,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the dog. They didn't take the dog with them.
I mean,
Assholes.
if it's not their dog.
If
you know.
they're treating the dog well, why wouldn't you take the dog with you?
Right.
Anyways.
Obviously, the dog likes sleeping on your porch. Come on now.
So, anyways, they left Pugin behind to sleep on their porch. Eventually, their home was turned into a restaurant where Pugin, the street dog, was still allowed to nap and even given the job of greeting customers as they entered. Pugin eventually died of natural causes in 1979,
No traumatic death.
and the restaurant still stands as a monument to him. Of course, many modern diners have reported hearing barking as they enter the restaurant and feeling a small dog brush against their legs as they eat.
Looking for scraps.
Mm-hmm.
Some employees have also spotted Pugin still sleeping on his spot on the porch on the hot summer afternoons as if nothing has changed.
Did Josh or Tiffany work there at any point?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I lost my spot there. If you're ever in Charleston, South Carolina, you want to check this restaurant out.
Good food.
Yeah, it's just Chris underneath the table.
So that's a classic Charleston story. If a lot of
Local
people know.
legend.
Good.
No,
good
nothing
story.
traumatic.
Nothing traumatic.
Just if you eat
the
there,
happy,
you might
happy ghost.
Happy dog?
That's a
Happy
happy
ghost
story.
dog.
Well, you have to think if we got
friendly
if we got
ghosts.
hellhounds and demonic things,
Yeah.
there's where there's
Right,
dark,
there are
there's light.
Right.
There's got to be the other side too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know Josh and Tiffany. They worked at a place where there was paranormal.
Yeah, what was that
experiences.
place called?
Post House.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you reminded me now.
Yeah, Tiffany told, or Josh told me the story. I guess Tiffany was working there in the kitchen. They get a phone call from one of the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the exact details.
It's like an inn, right?
Yeah, it's an inn.
Yeah.
But they got a phone call that the room needed something. I forgot exactly all the details, but basically the room kept calling, but there was no occupants of the room. No one had checked into the room. It was an empty room. So they're getting weirded out. You know, the room keeps calling, wants this order or whatever. They go up there, open the door, nothing in there, dude. Crazy.
There's a lot of Charleston hotels and
Yeah.
inns.
Oh, yeah.
I might have one. I might
Oh,
have
yeah.
one for you.
Okay.
Well, playing off Chris's story about treasure. I got a story about a pirate legend. Everyone's familiar with it, but I don't know if they're familiar with the origins of the legend, and that's Davy Jones. Davy Jones is a pirate. If you've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean, that was many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They did a movie where they had Davy Jones in it, right, portraying off the legend of Davy Jones and his pirate ship, the Flying Dutchman. But what is the real origin of Davy Jones? A lot of sailors know about Davy Jones and Davy Jones's locker, which is the bottom of the ocean, where if a ship sinks or a sailor falls overboard, or someone on a cruise ship, they fall overboard, they're going down to the locker.
Yeah.
You're going to Davy Jones's locker. That's basically death, right? And so anyway, what's the actual origin? The name Davy Jones has intrigued generations. That's why they made movies about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's an intriguing figure. Is he a spectral pirate, a demon of the deep, or a master of the mythical ship, the Flying Dutchman? Today we unravel the enigma that is Davy Jones, tracing his origins in maritime folklore, his reimagining in the epic Pirates of the Caribbean series, and the talented actor who breathed life into the mystical character. The infamous Davy Jones is embedded in nautical folklore, where Davy Jones's locker describes the ocean's bottom, the final resting place for drowned sailors and sunken vessels. Various lore interprets Davy Jones as an evil spirit, a demon, or even the devil himself, raining terror on seafarers and instilling fear of the open seas. Despite the vivid imagery associated with the character, the origins of Davy Jones are shrouded in the mists of time. There's no clear consensus on who the historical figure behind Davy Jones might be, and scholars continue to debate his origins. Some theories suggest that the term Davy Jones might have been derived from a real-life person. One popular speculation links the name to a notorious 16th century English pub owner, David Jones. According to lore, Jones used to
Encapsulate?
What?
I'm losing it.
Decapitate?
What?
Encapsulate?
Incapacitate his patron. Basically, get him drunk.
Decapitate.
Get him drunk. Get him
Incapacitate.
Right. Yes. Incapacitate. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Just ruined the whole story because I can't say a
Well,
fucking
now I'm
word
like
here.
imagining him chopping heads off.
He used to
Incapacitate.
Get them drunk.
incapacitate his patrons before selling them off to ship captains looking for crewmen. The unwilling men would wake up on board a ship.
He would just sell dudes off to. What? This is fucked up.
Oh, this used to happen back in the day, legit, dude. That's how ships got crews. They'd get people drunk, then they'd convince them to go on the ship.
It's like the recruiting
They'd go on the
office.
ship.
Mhm. Yeah, seriously.
The unwilling men would wake up on board a ship, and with the sea in all directions, they might as well have been in the locker of the infamous Davy Jones. Because, back in the day when ships went out to sea, back in the olden days, they didn't come back for a long time. Months, years, they were gone.
Yeah.
Right? Another theory points to the Welsh pirate David Jones, whose cruel and ruthless demeanor might have inspired the frightful character. However, these are merely theories, and the truth about the historical Davy Jones remains as elusive as the spectral ship he is said to captain. Over time, Davy Jones has evolved into a collective representation of all things fearful and unknown in the vast expanse of the sea. The term Davy Jones's locker came to symbolize the seafloor, the final resting place for those unfortunate to perish at sea. Regardless of its origins, the myth of Davy Jones continues to hold a chilling fascination, whether born out of seafarer superstitious tall tales spun by sailors or amalgamation of historical figures. The legend of Davy Jones endures, a testament to the human fascination with the mysteries of the deep, which I will say the sea is one of those things that is extremely mysterious.
Yeah.
You never really know what's
It's scary.
in the depths of the ocean.
It's
They say
scary.
we know more about
Depths
outer
of the
space
sea.
than what's on the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
You know thalassophobia?
Uh-uh.
Thalassophobia. It's a fear of the open water.
And
That's-
I
that's what I
experienced
got.
some.
It is scary.
I mean, you
when
go
you're
on a
out there.
cruise and like you're at that day at sea,
Nah, that's not that. You're not as far as you think.
You're not.
but
You're not.
regardless, you look around you and when
I mean,
you
that
see
can be
nothing,
overwhelming. Yeah.
Mhm.
it's over. And you think
Yeah.
about like what's under you,
Mhm. Nothing.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, water at nighttime is
Yeah.
freaky.
Yeah.
It's
I don't even
very-
like being in a pool at nighttime.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Well,
it's freaky.
The thing about, one of my first deployments when we were crossing the Pacific Ocean, it really hit me. We're in the middle
Oh
of
my
the ocean.
gosh.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's no hope of ever getting to land if the ship sinks.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
hope. You're
yeah.
done.
Yeah. Or people coming to get you.
That shit's weird. Weird.
Yeah.
Imagine
But-
being a sailor in the 1600s.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
on these wooden ships.
Oh yeah, they're
You're
rolling
relying
way
on the
more.
wind.
Yeah, the wind.
And navigation.
There are
You're-
times
you're
where the
like-
wind just stops. You're
Well-
just floating.
Yeah.
On that note, talking about the Flying Dutchman,
Mhm.
this is a confirmed reporting on the ship, the Flying Dutchman.
Was
Which-
that an actual ship?
It was an actual ship, commanded by Davy Jones. There have been many reported or alleged sightings in the 19th and 20th centuries of the Flying Dutchman, which is recent.
That's recent.
A well-known sighting was by Prince George of Wales, the future King George V. He was on a 3-year voyage. 3 years.
That's
Man, they're
crazy.
spending 3 years of your life.
3-year voyage during his late adolescence in 1880 with his elder brother, Prince Albert Victor of Wales, and their tutor, John Dalton. They temporarily shipped into HMS Inconstant after the damaged rudder was repaired in their original ship, the 4,000-ton corvette Bachelachente. The prince's log, right? So when you're on a ship, you have a ship's log.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to log periodically. There's different watches on the ship. Like back in the day on these big mast ships, they had a watchman up at the top in what's called the crow's nest. They had quartermasters driving the ship, piloting the ship. So there's multiple people with different logs, multiple sightings, multiple people looking around at all times.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Prince's log records the following for the pre-dawn hours of 11 July 1881 off the coast of Australia. So this is in a logbook. Confirmed. Okay. July 11th, 1881. At 4 a.m., the Flying Dutchman crossed our bow, which is the front of the ship. A strange red light, as of a phantom ship all aglow, in the midst of which light the masts, spars, and sails of a brig 200 yards distant. So he's saying 200 yards off the bow. Stood out in strong relief, which means he can see very clearly, as she came up on the port bow, which is the left side of the front of the ship, where also the officer of the watch from the bridge clearly saw her, as did the quarterdeck midshipman, who was sent forward at once to the forecastle, which is the front of the ship, but on arriving there was no vestige nor sign whatever of any material ship was to be seen either near or right away to the horizon, the night being clear and the sea calm. 13 persons altogether saw her. So there was 13 people on watch. They all saw it. At 10:45 a.m., the ordinary seaman who had this morning reported the Flying Dutchman fell from the foretopmast cross trees, which is way up high on the ship, fell down and was smashed to death. So one of the legends is if you see the Flying Dutchman, death is coming to you. And the first person to see it died that day.
Damn.
But the Flying Dutchman, the reason why she's stuck at sea is because she was sailing around the Cape of Good Hope in Africa, off of South Africa. And there was a storm that came. And the Flying Dutchman requested to go to port to evade the storm, was denied. And so they had no choice but to sail around the Cape of Africa, and the storm took her. And then no one ever saw that ship again. That was a Dutch man of war, which was a warship. And then after that is when they started seeing the Flying Dutchman sailing around at
big
night.
ship. Man of War is a big ship.
Yeah, it's a big ship. So anyway.
I do want to point out something. You know what pirates and sailors do like to do in their pastime?
Drink.
Drink. You know what drinking can cause? Hallucinations, falling off of height.
Yeah, no, that is true. The
Just
falling.
saying. I'm not saying
he might have had a barrel of something up in the.
He's like, I gotta log this shit. Holy shit! Did you see that?
But there's a lot of sailor folklore.
Yeah.
Like I think of mermaids, sirens. You know, there's a lot of things that say mermaids are demons.
We know that's confirmed.
What, mermaids?
Sirens are confirmed.
A lot of confirming.
Yeah. No, well, I'm saying that's interesting. Like all around the world, different cultures,
yeah.
lots of sailors report things like mermaids or like something like this, the Flying Dutchman. You know, I'm like, there is an interesting component there. Like, why? Like, does that story really get like? Does somebody make this up and it circulates the whole world? Like, possibly.
Yeah.
Like because I mean, these pirates are going to port, right? And same thing for the sailors and the tradesmen, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's possible story spread, but it's interesting stuff.
I think it's word of mouth. You know, you hear it here because so many people are doing, like, you go into a port, you start drinking, you meet all these people, you take on different crew members on your ships and stuff like that. Word of mouth travels around. Then one night you think you see something or hear something.
Or you do,
or
right?
You
so
do.
Like the stories can be the justification.
Yeah.
It could be that all these sailors are like this story Chad told. This ship cuts them off right in the something. 13 people saw something. Right now they hear all these stories in ports about the Flying Dutchman or whatever. Like, oh, that must be what we saw, or not. I don't know, but something.
Saw it, then it's gone.
People are seeing some weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, we know water carries energy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Which is why I say the ocean is freaky.
Yeah.
Especially at nighttime.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else? A lot of ancient societies across the world, ancient societies have confirmed.
Another confirmed.
We like using the word confirmed here
transcribed basically entities or aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting off topic.
Well, still paranormal. right?
Oh,
Technically.
I mean, it could be the paranormal stuff is the aliens thing, or
Could
vice
be.
versa. You
the
don't know.
Flying Dutchman that these guys saw could have been an alien vessel. We don't know.
I like the.
Well,
Flying
there's
Dutchman
also
story better. I don't like
we
to
don't
think
know
aliens.
that it's aliens
We
because
don't
there's also beliefs that they are demons. There's the fallen
could be.
angels came down, right? This is biblical. Fallen angels come down. They mate with the human women. That's where the giants came from, right? And they help build all these pyramids and the civilization. That's a theory.
Giants.
Yeah. Oh, there's many
We're going to
mentions.
talk about this.
There's many mentions of giants.
We can talk about this for
Yeah.
for a couple more hours.
Yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that all these ancient civilizations, they have like depictions of other entities,
right.
whether they're alien or paranormal entities.
And that are often consistent in their cave drawings and
saying.
pictures. They look very similar,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
for sure.
Different civilizations that never interacted with each other.
Right. All the
See
way
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
opposite side.
Again, this boils back down to what I was saying initially with your Hellhound story.
What?
Is that way back in the early centuries, it just seems like there's more crazy shit happening than
Well,
happens
now
Right.
we have censorship.
Well,
through
yeah,
our
but
Fake
I
news is what
mean,
you're
They're
saying.
adapting.
Yeah.
Fake news.
I think they're adapting.
I think we got a vault of things locked up.
oh
somewhere.
yeah. you're
Oh,
talking
well,
about
that's
government.
definitely
We're talking
possible.
about conspiracies
Yeah, now we're
Well,
getting
I mean,
out.
I
you
just
know.
think that
Well,
back then.
some of the best records of what's actually happening are verbal records that are passed on.
Yeah. That's
verbally.
checked out. That is confirmed.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean,
Which
there's been
means
many
the legend
verbal
of Davy
legends that are
Jones
passed down that
and
are
the Flying
confirmed.
Dutchman passed on by sailors verbally.
Arguably more
For
accurate
years.
than written record is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Because written records can be manipulated.
Right.
Yeah.
Written records can be fake.
Although so can verbal.
So can verbal.
Think of the
Less
telephone
likely to
game.
be
Yeah, the
telephone
game of telephone.
Classics.
Yeah.
Less likely to
I've
be
seen
fake.
that at this table.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even this morning.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's human. We are human beings. We're storytellers, so we're going to
People like
embellish
stories.
things.
They
Yeah.
like the mysterious.
Yeah, but next
Right.
thing you know, you're
mystical-
seeing a goat in your yard, and then you see.
Well, I
Yeah,
did see a
right,
goat
right.
figure.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue here. Chris,
Okay.
you got another
All
story
right.
for us?
Let's. Yeah, I got a short one for you. I don't know. Did you guys touch on the light, the Somerville light last year?
Tell us
We
again.
did. We
All right.
did last.
Tell us
year.
again.
It's
All right.
Tell
I'll
us
t-
your version.
I have
Yeah,
some
yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, let's
So-
hear
Right.
it.
We
Let's
want to
hear
hear your version and your experiences.
So this one's local to us, about 30 minutes from where we are right now. According to legend, the Somerville ghost haunts the tracks. Old tracks. There's not currently tracks there.
Well, there's a neighborhood there now.
Right. But there's no tracks.
Mhm.
But there was at some point.
So that neighborhood.
I actually have a story that correlates with yours, so I'd like to go after Chris. I'm just
Okay, well,
gonna
hold
say
on.
that.
We're talking about Chris's story.
I know.
The Somerville ghost haunts the tracks, desperately waiting for her husband. In life, the woman would meet her husband every night, and the two of them walked back to their house by lamplight. One day, her husband died in a horrific accident. Unable to process his death on the site, he died on the site. Like he was a worker. He worked with the
Right.
trains, whatever,
Railroad.
transport and whatever.
Mhm.
Her husband died in a horrific accident. Unable to process his death, she continued her ritual of waiting at the train tracks. It is said that her ghost emits a green light that hovers above the road. Some witnesses claim the light followed them, while others admitted to an overwhelming feeling of sorrow and despair. I when I was a police officer, I worked this area. It was basically we Chad and I, Ben, you probably have come with us. We would go
No,
back there.
He hasn't
No.
been with us down
We'd
there.
go back there when we were kids and stuff, right? Just trying to find it's a common hangout spot for,
Yeah.
let's say,
Used to be.
teenagers.
Because now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
Now
there
you can't go
anymore.
there.
It's a
Right. Well, you
neighborhood.
can go there. It's just in the middle of a neighborhood.
Right.
They built upon it.
Right. So that's
but yeah.
that's an issue.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I used to go there all the time as a kid, as a police officer. That's a good little. That's back when I was a smoker. You know, that was my smoke spot.
Oh, yeah.
Be dead end road. You go down there. You know,
Couple cigs.
couple
For cigs.
cigs, couple little cig break. You
Couple
know,
bush lights.
bathroom break. You know, nobody's back there.
Couple bush lights on duty.
No drinking, no drink. But people go back there and drink, you know. So you'd run into people, you know, doing drugs, all that kind of stuff. So I've been there a lot. On 2 occasions, I believe I did possibly see a light. Looked like a candlelight, like a flame, like it flickered. It was
Which
moving.
this area back in the day, there was zero things back there.
No develop. Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. It's
complete
just an
woods.
old road where train tracks used to be, I believe.
Right. Complete woods.
Complete woods,
And
surrounded
at a
by
certain
woods.
point, the county had piled up a huge pile of dirt
Because people were driving
Right,
back
they
there
stopped
mudding
people.
and
they stopped people from going back.
Yeah. So they put a big old berm there. But yeah, on 2 occasions, I definitely saw something. I've had multiple reports from friends and family that have been back there, like weird things would happen, like their car cutting off or something like that. Which that did happen to me once, but I had a Hyundai Elantra that always cut off. So I don't know if that was a ghost or just.
Was there a light when your car shut off?
No, I didn't see a light. It just wouldn't start back
That's
up.
the car. That's the car.
You know.
Maintenance. You missed
I could have. That might not have been the ghost, but
Well, I had a friend back in the day before they piled up that dirt. He drove back there with some buddies, and they drove way back there. I don't know how far back, but anyway, they stopped. They saw a light in the woods that was moving, and they're like, "What the hell is that?" Right? They had their truck turned on, headlights on. This light starts moving towards them. They start getting freaked out. All of a sudden, the lights are right at their truck. They don't see anything except for the light, and the truck shuts off. And the light moves on through the woods back to a different direction. And after the light's out of the area, the truck will turn back on.
yeah.
So that happened to them. Confirmed.
Yeah. A
Confirmed.
lot of stories on the light. I've heard
Right.
a lot of people that have personally
Well, now the
witnessed
thing
it.
is, I'd like to talk to some people that live in that neighborhood, which I've tried to, because
Yeah.
I've trained some dogs for people. I'm like, you guys notice anything? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. They say no. But I'm like, that neighborhood's built right over that
Well,
area.
it's actually the actual road. So like if you pass the neighborhood, you go into now it's the roundabout, and you cut through like you're going to go to the interstate. That's the actual road that it was. So it's kind of just off of the neighborhood. So could still be hanging out
still
on.
be moving
That's the
around.
road you want to go on if you want to see it.
But they also say that entities move more frequently early in the morning,
Mhm.
like 3 a.m., midnight, 3 a.m. time.
that I mean, the times I saw it, it was late night shift.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And you didn't investigate when you
But-
saw it?
Oh yeah, well, one time I did walk. I walked down, and I mean, it was just gone. Like all of a sudden, it's just gone. But let me give you a caveat too. One thing I like to do on slow nights when I was bored, I'd just walk all the way down there, and you know somebody's coming. You know, so I'd park my cruiser so that it was like off to the side and like a little side trail, and I'd walk down. I'd wait till I see headlights, and then I'd use my flashlight as the light, and I'd start walking. People, you'd hear them freaking. Oh my God, there's a light! I see it.
Oh, so you were the light.
I was the
sometimes.
light. Yeah. So you
like,
also
it's
got to
me the
wonder
whole
how many
time.
times are these confirmed sightings just people fucking around.
Well, you see those videos on social media of like these people trying to scare people. Yeah. I'm like, dude, if that happened to me, someone would probably be getting shot.
Yeah.
Like these
Not
clown
good.
videos.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know?
Oh, that
are
was
just-
bad.
Where they're
That was a
chasing
bad
people
time.
with like
Machetes?
machetes.
Yeah, and
I'm
axes.
like, dude, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But they're doing this in locations where there's not a lot of like
Guns.
CWP or guns,
Right,
right?
right.
So they're getting lucky.
Safe zones.
Right. But they do that in areas where CWP is like a real thing.
Yeah,
I
don't-
mean, we're talking about serious danger,
Yeah.
you know?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, Ben, you got a story?
Well, I'm going to be cynical on that statement with the clown thing, and I think that was, you talking about like a couple years ago
Yeah.
when there would be a viral video.
Well, they still do it.
It was like
but
when
yeah,
it was coming out.
I think it was movie promo, for real.
No.
Yes,
No.
I think it was movie
that
promo, dude.
widespread.
There's
No.
legit.
Yes.
They were
there's-
going around like to
No.
parking garages and
Right.
like they just stand there and people would be walking
Right.
to their
Around
car.
the same time as when
No, it's
But
like,
No.
yeah,
it's
I
like,
think I think it
Maybe that's how it
triggered
started.
it. But I
Right.
think then there was like a wave of them that were actually doing damage. Like whether to people, they were like attacking people.
Oh, that was a thing,
or
too. Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
attacking cars and property. But it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
well, there's too many different prank channels that are
Yeah.
doing the same video for it to be a promo.
Yeah.
So my story is, one of my stories,
Mhm.
included in my stories, is a real life experience
Okay.
that you guys know
So
about.
not a legend.
But I
Confirmed.
say,
Confirmed.
and this is definitely confirmed because it's on video.
Well, I've seen the video. That's what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying confirmed
It's
too is
definitely
legit
confirmed.
confirmed.
But I
okay?
say following up to the Chris' Somerville Lights because it's kind of in the same area.
Oh, that's
Kinda.
right. That
What?
house is in that neighborhood.
It's in the same area.
Right.
I don't know.
The house that he's been to where the paranormal experiences have happened.
Same that
It's in
neighborhood.
the same area as where the Somerville Light.
Yeah, it's close in that area. I don't think it's. I don't know.
It's Weatherstone.
It's
Is
next
it
to
Weatherstone?
It's not Weatherstone.
Yeah, but I know
It's
the
the
apartments that are
neighborhood next to
it.
Weatherstone.
Right,
I don't
so
know what
it's
the name
same
of it is.
general area.
There's not a
'Cause,
name.
I mean, the light would be way down. I mean, it would almost be
Yeah.
towards the end or back of Weatherstone.
Well, then maybe. I mean, it would
But she's
be.
also
it would
walking
be
the
close.
tracks,
Like
you know
I
what I'm
have
saying?
to pass Weatherstone, and it's like and then it's like the next neighborhood on the left.
She's also like that was a train. She's walking the tracks
Yeah.
looking for her husband. Who knows
Yeah.
how far she's walking?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'm just
tell
gonna give the quick the quick story, trying to keep my my friends' names out of it and all this, because my friends moved into this house recently. They're renting it, and everything was good. We do we play Dungeons and Dragons at their house and stuff. We have our own separate podcast, but they start telling me that shit is happening in the house, like randomly. It freaks me out, especially knowing that I've literally seen it with my eyes. So they say things like they're getting touched on the shoulder while they're chilling in their house watching TV.
Nice.
They turn around, no one's there. I know one of my friends had his name called directly right behind him, and they're saying it's a little girl though. They think it's a little
No,
girl.
hell no.
Well, you know what little girls signify in the spiritual world? Demonic entities.
Well, kids in
Maybe,
general.
but there's also
Right.
kids. There's
in
also
general.
kid
Entities
story
where
or
they
kid
hide
ghosts.
themselves as children or little girls.
So they say it's a little girl, or they think it's a little girl. So because he heard his name called in a little girl voice or like a kid voice, he turned around. Well, he thought it was his other roommate in the house. So because it's a female, he shouted up to her. She was upstairs. He was like, "Hey, did you call my name?" She was like, "What? No." And he's like, "Well, my name just got called right behind me." The female in the house, she's like waking up in the middle of the night, very unsettled, like she can't go back to sleep, or she can't sleep because there's a lot of uneasy energy in her room. Like she feels like she's being watched.
Dude, no.
Doors opening, like wide open. Like he says he'll be downstairs. He knows all the doors upstairs are closed. He'll go upstairs like one of the doors is open, which is where we play our D&D at, is in the room where the door is opening, which for my experience, I've literally had the door open twice while we're in the room. Like somebody walked in. It's actually crazy. I showed you. I got it on video.
Yeah, you showed me the
I
video.
got it on video. It's insane.
You should put the clip on the YouTube version of this.
Yeah,
podcast.
and me, like I low-key get terrified of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I do. I get freaked out very easily. I've never been a ghost person.
Well, you don't want to experience it yourself because you don't know what you're fucking with.
Especially
Right.
if you watch like Ghost Adventures and stuff, which is what I watch. It's like
Right.
you're living that shit. Dude, it's crazy because it's one of those things when people say they can't explain it. I cannot explain. I mean, the only reason I can explain is that there is a ghost in the house because the door is freaking opening,
Right,
dude. It's
right.
so insane.
Yeah, the video is crazy.
And it's happened twice.
While you're there.
While we're in the room,
Right.
where the door just opens by itself after it's latched. We know it's latched. So recently though, and there's 3 people in the house. The other guy in the house says that, you know, at 2 a.m. the lights in the kitchen are turning on and off. Stuff is getting moved around the house, thrown off of countertops and stuff. Poltergeist, big time. And the other guy, the guy I was talking to the first time that had his name called, he was saying he was working in his studio and he's heard stuff in his roommate's bathroom getting moved around, pushed off shelves and stuff.
So when they go to look at this stuff, it's actually off the counters. It's on the floor and whatever.
The guy that
Stuff
lives
that's getting
downstairs says like he'll look out into the hallway like whenever at 2 a.m. and he said that like no one's downstairs and that the lights are off and
Right,
stuff.
but the stuff that's getting pushed off the counter, it's actually on the floor.
Well, I mean, I haven't asked them that question specifically because they're just saying that stuff. They hear movement, you know, stuff gets moved around. But also they kind of they like the house. The house is nice.
Don't care.
You know,
Right.
as far as them
It's a
investigating
rental.
stuff.
It's a rental for a
It is
reason.
rental.
Oh
it's a
yeah,
rental.
and as far as them investigating stuff, they kind of turn a blind eye to it. So you know, they're kind of just like trying to be okay with it. So I don't know how much investigating they do, and they kind of turn a blind eye, which is their decision. But also the guy that lives downstairs, which is the kitchen lights and stuff, he said he's heard the front door like just blatantly get opened, and he goes and looks at it, and it's like locked and everything. But he said he's like clear as day. He hears the front door open and close and a bunch of noise, which is like right outside of his room. So it's definitely freaky. But as in the past couple months, though, the past 2 months, they've said that the activity has gone down significantly. So I was like, maybe they moved in
changed
there.
anything
No,
about their routines?
they haven't changed shit.
They haven't started any Bible studies or anything.
No. One of them had the bright idea.
That might make
I'm
it
not
worse.
I'm not gonna say anything. He wanted to interact with the ghost and try and connect with it, and I told him it was a bad idea.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's done that. But they said that activity has gone down
If you do that now, it can attach
significantly.
Yeah.
It can attach directly to you.
And I'm wondering if when they moved into the house that it pissed the ghost off, and the ghost was like throwing a fit basically. And now that everything's calmed down, the ghost is used to them being there or something.
They're used to the ghost.
But that's around the same Somerville Light area.
Yeah.
But this is more poltergeist and
That's
stuff.
a little bit. Yeah.
It's way more intense, dude.
Yeah.
Trembling ice is all the way down through the staff. Yeah, it's kind of like a.
Did everybody see that?
Listen, we have a ghost.
Again?
Listen, I was touched by it, and I never did.
It did this last night too.
You shut it all the way, Eric, and it just opened?
There you go.
Yeah, I definitely shut it all the way because I remember it latching. So
Tyrese's
I'm a little
back.
freaked out right now.
I wonder how many
Maybe
other
it's the
houses
husband.
in that neighborhood, in that area,
Yeah.
in that houses in that area are getting activity.
I don't know because
I
we
wonder
were
if there's a Facebook group where they're talking about
we were
it.
trying to debunk
I mean,
it.
we know a lot of people in that neighborhood. You'd think
Right.
we'd hear something.
Well, Kevin's sister lives there.
Yeah.
I've asked her husband before. And he's
No.
like, nah, dude.
But it's not in Weatherstone.
Right.
So,
His house is.
yeah.
Well, that reminds me
But
of
I'm
the
saying
story.
Weatherstone is like just, if you look at the
I know.
straight shot
I know.
line of where it
I
was,
know.
it's just offset.
Right.
So it
But
wouldn't
they
be
can
weird.
still move through that area. though.
Possibly, right.
Right. But that reminds me of the story when I was in the Navy. There was a guy who, long story short, basically lived in an apartment with another guy, and they were on some kind of trip in the local area. They stopped on the side of the road in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. They walk into these woods. They go to the bathroom. They get back in their car. They go back to their apartment. Ever since that incident, they had things happening in their house, things getting moved around, blankets getting ripped off of them in the middle of the night. They never got physical harm done to themselves, but things were getting moved around the house, lights on and off, blankets getting pulled off them. They were getting touched, but not in a harmful way. And they were getting freaked out, but then they just we're going to live with this thing, whatever it is, this entity. And then the roommate has a son, and so the son had come over for a period of time, and the entity started messing with the son violently. And then one night the son was sleeping in one of the rooms in the bed. The blankets got ripped off, and the son got scratched, physically scratched by the entity, which obviously would be like a demonic type entity or an evil entity. And so they freaked out at that point. They're like, this is not cool. The son got hurt, whatever. So they all leave the apartment. They're trying to figure out what to do. And one of the guys that the guy in the Navy worked with, the co-worker's wife was a Wiccan. I think that's what you call the
Wiccan.
Wiccan. It was a Wiccan. And so he goes home to his wife, who's the Wiccan, tells her what's going on. She puts together this kit. They get the kit to the guys that are living in the apartment. And the kit had all this stuff in it. Had some sage, had some special salt, had a candle, had the instructions on what to do. And they were to put this salt along every entry exit way of the house, doors, windows, those kind of things. So they did that. Boom. They had to close everything, put the salt in front of it. And then they had to do some other stuff. And then they had this special candle. And they were to put the candle in the center of the apartment and light it. And when they lit it, they were not able to open or close anything. They couldn't do anything until the candle had burnt all the way out. So they set up the house. They did everything. They light the candle. When they light the candle, this entity starts freaking out. They can hear it screaming. They hear it moving around to different parts in the apartment. It's throwing shit everywhere. It's freaking out. It's all over the place. It's not touching them. They're standing there they're sitting by the candle. They're freaked the fuck out, right? This is going on and on and on until the candle's getting very close to the end of burning. Once it gets to the end of the burning or close to it, the entity basically is They can't hear it. They can't, nothing's happening. And then when the candle burns out, everything's done. No more motion, no more nothing. So then there were special instructions on how to clean everything up. So they cleaned everything up, and then at that point, it was over. They didn't
That's
have
crazy.
any more experiences. But they were trying to figure out what happened, and they were researching. They were trying to figure out where this entity came from. That's when they realized that night that they had peed in the woods. That's when everything started. So they backtracked that area, looked up the location of that area, and that was like an old grave site from the Civil War where there was like a massacre, and they just buried a bunch of women, children, and men that they had, I think it was the Northern Army had come down, massacred a bunch of towns and cities. They just piled up a bunch of people in this area, buried them. And so they basically peed on this gravesite. So they think that there was some kind of entity that attached to them from that gravesite, which maybe could be because, urine is like a water-soluble discharge, and water is a way that entities can traverse and travel. So maybe that's how it got.
Could have just been a proximity, like just needed a body to be in proximity.
Or that's a sign of disrespect.
But when this guy was telling me the story, I mean, I was because he tells it way more intensely than I just told it.
Well, because he experienced it.
Freaked out, dude.
The first time you told me that story, I was freaked out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was freaked out. There's a lot of guys I met in the Navy. We'd you'd be on watch late at night. You'd be telling stories, and they'd have some crazy ass stories. Like the only other one that I can remember is this guy. He had 2 Rottweilers. He moved into this like house behind a house. I forgot what you call that. Where it's like a little house behind someone's main
like
house.
A mother-in-law suite kind of deal.
Like that, like a little apartment thing. He had 2 Rottweilers. Ever since he moved in, at certain points in the night, the Rottweilers would go crazy in this one room of the house.
Ugh.
And he couldn't figure it out. He was like getting freaked out. And then eventually he like started connecting the dots that there's something there, like an entity. Right, and he immediately just moved out.
Yeah, he's like not even going to investigate. I'm just out of here.
He's not playing around with that.
Yeah.
But ever since then, he's like, I will never live without a dog because those 2 dogs told me what was going on.
Well, a lot of people say dogs and like kids can see things in other realms potential. Like there's a lot of baby monitor footage of like kids looking and talking and communicating with things that you can't see. Well, that's one of those
movies, the Paranormal Activity movies. They used a kid in that movie to like show about the
my little
entities.
my little sister would say things when I would like watch her, and like just growing up around my parents, and we all 3 of us there to witness it are like this, and she remembers it to this day. Like it stayed with her, and I think also because we've talked about it over the years. But she's like, no, I remember that. Like, and that was a significant point where she's seeing things. Like when we put her down for a nap, she's like, they won't let me sleep.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like who? And she's like the girls. And it's super weird. But
I remember when my kids were little. One of my kids was like, my friend in her room. She'd be like, my friend. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. I don't know if she saw anything or not, but that time passed. She stopped talking about it. But for a while, it was like, my friend. And then it was like, my friend has to come with me. I'm like, what? I was telling my wife, I was like, something's going on,
Yeah.
I don't know why they say animals and kids can see things that adults can't. Maybe it's because their mind isn't as closed to these things.
Right. Could be.
yeah, when Maverick like hones in on something, I'm just sitting on the couch,
What
he's
are you
staring,
seeing?
and he's like, I'm like, my mind instantly goes crazy.
You never know.
Well,
You never know.
my grandmother, she's passed away, but her side, their last name is Martin, and she for years would talk about these things that would fall, like these entities or spirits or whatever.
They also say old people too.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But she would tell like my great grandmother, my grandmother's mother, lived
Grandma
with
Jan?
her. Grandma Jan.
Yeah.
Yep. My great grandmother lived with her for basically since I was born. She was kind of been living with her. There was many stories. Like one of my cousins, when he was like 2, asked her, who's that lady in the dress following you around? Nobody saw that. There'd be poltergeist stuff, like legit. Like that was stuff I would remember. Like I'd see a mug shattered on the ground. She's like, oh yeah, that's just the ghost. Like things would fly off the shelves and stuff like this. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. Like that's been around my whole life. My grandmother would say this. My great grandmother told a story back when she was in Kentucky. She lived on like this farm in a small little cabin where like the door to the bedroom led directly to the porch. Right. This is like we're talking
old.
probably 20s, maybe 30s. You know what I mean? But this door would just not stay closed. They would close it. It'd be wide open in the morning, or it'd swing open in the middle of the night, right? And like they would put like a deadbolt on it, old school lock, like a latch thing. Boom! It would rip the latch off. My great grandfather one time they said that he boarded it, nailed boards on the door, and it freaking swung open, ripped the boards off.
What?
Right? So I'm like, what the hell? And like, there's countless stories that my grandmother would tell about weird stuff. But as soon as my great grandmother, she died almost 100 years old, like 99, I think she was. They never, like, it was gone. Like, nothing ever, my grandmother never experienced anything else. It was almost like whatever that was attached to her or associated with her.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, there's definitely some weird stuff.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
There's some stuff out there.
Dude, he
he
nailed the door
wooden
closed,
wooden planks. That's what they say. Like,
and
again,
it flew
this would have
open.
been in the 20s or 30s.
That's some demonic shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Maybe.
nothing ever fucked with them.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
violent
yeah.
stuff, no
Yeah.
nothing. It was like, they just didn't want that door closed, whatever the thing was. And then there would be periodic, like, mugs flying off of shelves and stuff and shatter. Like, there was no rhyme or reason to it. But nobody ever was hurt or there was no, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
They never felt like there was an evil presence or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, there are
Yeah.
debated
good
and bad ghosts,
Yeah.
spirits.
Yeah. Hard to know for sure what the hell's going on. Hard to know for sure. Well, we'll wrap it up with one more quick mention. And bringing this up because Canine Revolution is moving to this area with Erin. Waco, Texas. Waco's a very
Haunted town.
haunted, paranormal area. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
You
did.
She already looked into
That's
it.
why we're sending her. We're sending her there to train all the hellhounds.
Oh yeah. I had my remainder stories were Texas for this podcast, but I told one.
I think. Well, you want to tell one? Tell
No,
one.
it's okay.
I'll let Erin tell one.
I think we need a Hellhound T-shirt.
Dude, I like it.
I think
I want it.
That got Chris amped.
I think we need 2 Halloween-based T-shirts. One of like a nice, dog, then one of a hellhound.
Hoogan.
You know, Cerberus was a hellhound.
Release the
3-headed dog
hellhounds.
had red eyes.
Well, the 3 heads wouldn't always appear.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I'm reading that in a book right now.
I was gonna say you got that story on him.
All right, Erin, give us a Texas story.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, last one.
Yeah.
Nestled among the prairies and lakes of Texas, the Goat Man.
Oh,
of
shit, dude.
multiple,
Hey, this is some
Mhm.
this is
Okay, now I gotta
satanic
tell my
shit.
story after this.
of multiple Dallas area legends has occupied a number of roles. An alleged monster prowling the banks of White Rock Lake, the tortured soul of a murdered Denton area goat farmer, and even the devil himself. Described as a creature appearing as part man, part goat with scales and long clawed fingers, the Goat Man is accredited to sightings near lakes and bridges. In 1969, the Fort Worth
That's recent.
Yep. The Fort Worth Star Telegram greeted readers with the front page headline, "Fishy Man Goat Terrifies Couple Parked at Lake Worth."
What were they doing?
You know what they were
couple
doing.
stuff.
The same thing the kids would do at Light Road.
Yeah, right. After couples reported seeing the monster to local police, which led to weeks of armed search parties.
They took it serious.
Making nightly trips into the nearby woods and fields to try and locate the creature. After the incident, the Lake Worth monster haunted the popular consciousness of the community and later combined with another local legend, the Goat Man of Old Alton Bridge. According to local legend, those who visit the Alton Bridge at night and knock on it 3 times will be faced with the murderous Goat Man, who will attempt to throw them off the bridge.
Is that on the Ghost Adventures? Is that the bridge that the lady got scratched?
The Alton Bridge sounds familiar, but
That
I
does
don't know
sound familiar,
why.
but there was a Ghost Adventures where the lady
I don't think
got
it was
scratched
Texas, though.
and possessed.
Yeah.
Further, those who stop their cars and honk twice near the bridge are said to see the Goat Man's glowing red eyes appear in the darkness.
There's
I
been
don't
some
know, maybe it
mentions-
was though.
I think it was that
Maybe.
bridge, dude.
Sorry.
There's been some correlation between the devil and the
goats.
goat.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember why that started.
I don't either.
I
But
think
there's a
it was
lot of
because
stories
they
like that.
sacrificed goats.
Yeah,
be.
it was their sacrificial thing to the devil, was the
Right.
goat itself, the goat head.
But back in the day, like in Bible descriptions, they
Yeah.
would sacrifice goats to God.
Mm-hmm.
So who were they sacrificing them to? Both.
Possibly.
You know,
Maybe.
Probably.
the Satanists were sacrificing it to the
Yeah. Well, you figure a
Christians
couple of
sacrificing
people
it.
worshiping God, that's what they know is sacrificing the goats or whatever. They just switched to worshiping something else. That's what they know about
yeah.
their sacrifices.
I also think it has something to do specifically like the rammed goats, like the ram horns
Mhm.
of the goats. Like kind of that's what people have pictured the devil to look like, having horns, things
True.
like that. So
Well,
along
usually
that
it's
nature.
like a black goat
Yeah.
that's used in depictions of like
Mhm.
satanic ritual or whatever,
yeah.
right?
And I think it maybe has something to do with the lamb too. Like
There's something
lambs
about
and
certain
goats.
animals, like goats, depending on what you believe or whatever, you start thinking about those as like an indication of entity or whatever, right? I have goats, so sometimes it weirds me out. I have nice goats.
They are weird.
But when you look at them at nighttime, they look fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if you-
in the daytime, they kind of look crazy
they do
too.
look
to
crazy
be,
because their eyes are like
Yeah.
sideways.
Their
But if
eyes
you
are-
shine a
They
light
also
on 'em-
yell at you, literally.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you shine a
It's kind
light
of a
on
crazy
them,
animal.
their eyes at nighttime, it's scary looking.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Get
You
rid
got
of
the
them.
beard?
You got them. Get rid of them.
I can't. Dude.
They're doing good work.
They're better than a bush hog.
They're doing
better
good
than a
work.
bush hog. They eat everything.
Yeah.
Well, so last night, it's currently October 18th. Last night, yesterday was October 17th, the third Thursday, which was Halloween celebration. That third Thursday.
Not Halloween, but it's Halloween. So
Right.
And you said a full moon.
And a full moon, dude. And so last night, number one, I was having trouble sleeping, right? And my dog, one of my dogs, kept having to go to the bathroom. She kept waking me up, so I kept going outside. Anyway, it's between 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. I'm outside. I live in the woods. It's a full moon. So I'm out taking my dog to the bathroom at the edge of the woods, and I get this feeling that something's looking at me, which I get sometimes. Sometimes it's an owl.
Sometimes it's me.
Sometimes it's Chris.
Hey, neighbor.
Sometimes it's random shit. Sometimes it's nothing, right? But I have these goats, these two goats, and they've been eating away a lot of the brush, and they've uncovered a lot of things. Like one of the things is like I was telling Ben, there's like this wagon that's like in the ground, but a tree grew through it and grew around it, so the wagon's like stuck in the tree, which is crazy.
Like a horse wagon?
Yeah. Then there's like a bunch of freaking old school glass bottles, like
I
old,
saw those.
with shit growing inside of
Like
them.
some moonshiner stuff.
Yeah. There's a bunch of random shit that these goats are uncovering, right? So who knows what the fuck's been happening on this land,
Yeah.
right? There's also like a pile of bricks like from an old chimney just laying there, so we don't know what the fuck's been happening on this land. The goats are uncovering it. So anyway, I was at the edge of the woods. My goat pen is to my right. The fence line to my right. The goats are over there. And then to the left, there's a giant tree. And around the edge of the tree, I see this figure that to me at that moment seemed like a goat type figure standing up like a human would, with a goat head looking right at me, about 6 or 7 feet high. And so I'm getting freaked
That's
the fuck
tall.
out. And my dog is like focused on shitting, so she's not indicating that there's anything over there. So I'm like getting freaked out. And I yell at him, like, hey! Because I'm freaked the fuck out,
And
dude.
it's like, hey.
So I yell, hey, at it. And my goats, they hear me, obviously. They start baaing. So I wake them up. I'm like, oh, fuck, what the fuck's going on? Trying to get my dog to look in that area to see if she'll figure something out. But then I look up at the area again, and the thing's like moving away. I didn't have my flashlight with me because I'm just taking my dog out to shit real quick. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm getting freaked out. I'm about to run inside to get a flashlight, come back out, try to figure out what the hell's going on. And so my goats wake up. Now they just start eating in the middle of the night,
Snack break.
Midnight snack.
So I took my dog back in, go back to sleep, wake up later because the dog has to poop again, come back out with my flashlight this time. My goats are still eating, and I'm looking around, and I swear I'm hearing things walking around, but I think it was just the goats. But I don't know what was out there, what wasn't out there. But I do have confirmed camera footage of orbs at night, and I've sent them to you guys before.
Yep.
I've had a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that stuff.
Right? So I definitely think there's things moving around.
Well, I was telling Erin a story earlier where me and Kelly used to be into the ghost stuff, right? We used to hardcore do that stuff. So we did a ghost tour in Charleston. There's this church down there. I don't exactly remember where it's at, but it had burned down. I think some people died in the fire possibly. but then it was rebuilt. So I have this is back in the day, right? You know the crank, the little cameras, your disposable camera, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just taking pictures on stuff. And we had a bunch that had like orbs, like a lot of once we got it developed, a lot of orbs, which was a normal thing. But this church picture, I took a picture of the church because that's a cool looking church. It's like old school, but it was like almost like the film messed up, but it looked like flames shooting out of the church. I tried to see if she could find it because I was wanting to bring it today, but she says we still have the picture somewhere. But I was like, that's kind of weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. Which those you could we use those cameras a lot, and there would be times where you'd develop it and it's like some weird blotch or whatever, like it would just look weird. Yeah, but like the fact that church caught fire and it looks like flames, the way the distortment was, it looked like flames were shooting out of the church's windows and stuff.
The person developing it was like, I've seen this before. Let me just
like, oh, they did a ghost tour.
Holy shit, dude. Well, anyway, good discussion here.
Yeah.
Last one, because Erin's moving to Waco. Canine Revolution Dog Training going to Waco. Dr. Pepper Museum in Waco. You heard about it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that like the Coke Museum in Georgia?
Down. Coke Museum in Georgia.
Yeah. Coca-Cola factory or whatever.
Is it haunted?
I don't know.
No, it's just a giant museum.
Oh, this is just a Dr. Pepper, like a warehouse.
The Dr. Pepper
That's
Museum.
where Dr. Pepper's originated.
It's where Dr. Pepper originated. Shut down, obviously. It's a museum now. But there are entities there confirmed. Right?
You'll hear the of a can.
There's too many like scattered stories. I wasn't able to collect like a good description of it because the stories were too scattered to like figure out what's going on. But there's a lot of activities there. A lot of paranormal investigators have gone there, gotten lots of activities.
It's open to the public now?
You can go do tours and everything.
Like museums.
Yeah, it's a museum. But apparently the Dr. Pepper CEO died from sugar overload or something. Was that true?
Surprise. Surprise.
He's chugging Dr.
Too
Pepper.
much sugar, dude.
Come on.
Too much sugar. So anyway, if you're in Waco, check it out. Also check out Canine Revolution in Waco. No factor.
Good place.
We'll train your hellhound.
Well, there's also a old house in Charleston I've trained a dog for. Two dogs for them. And they got some crazy stories. So crazy that they won't even live there.
Yeah.
They won't sleep there.
They just own the house.
They own the house.
Yeah.
It's a nice house.
It's been in their family for years.
Yeah.
But there's too much activity.
It's probably their family.
And yeah, well, they're I guess the lady the lady who owns everything now, her dad was one of the ones that was like on his deathbed in the house, and there were entities in the room with him. And
so they know family members have died in that house.
Well, there was like a nurse in there, and the mom and the daughter, who's now the owner of everything, was in the room with the dad. The entities were there. They were freaking out. They were trying to do something. He's like, "Stop! I want them here." Like he wanted the entities with him, whatever they were. But crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And the dogs will indicate when entities are there.
I'd rather just not know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like kids or dogs, just don't point it out so I can live in
I mean, that was
bliss.
a question I asked realtors when buying a home.
Oh, yeah.
And they thought I was crazy. And Jake was embarrassed. But I'm like, has someone died here?
You gotta ask.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, to the listener, what do you believe? What do you think? What are your thoughts on paranormal legends, paranormal activity? You can let us know in the comments on YouTube on this podcast, because we definitely want to hear the stories. We definitely want to hear what your thoughts are, what you think, what you believe. Do you avoid it? Right? What are your...
Do you welcome it?
Do you
run
Do
from
not
it?
welcome.
Well, that's the thing. People that play around with this stuff, you're kind of opening a portal to the underworld, which I don't think is a good idea. Right? Whether you believe in demons, angels, or just spirits trapped, hard to know.
It's a realm that we are not in.
Right.
That we have no experience with.
Right.
That we
I
can't
find
understand.
it interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
I do think that obviously I've seen some shit. You know, obviously I think that there's entities, paranormal, but I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it, dude.
Yeah. You don't want to flirt
I see the
with
goat
it.
man in my backyard, I'm getting freaked the fuck out.
You just go back
know?
to bed at that point. You live in ignorant bliss.
Right,
You know?
don't play around with it. You know, don't play around with it. But anyway, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. But before we wrap up today, of course, got to talk about our affiliates. Right? First of all, Canine Revolution Dog Training. And if you have us over for a consultation, we will welcome the conversation about your experiences. And we'll tell you our experiences. Right? But Canine Revolution Dog Training, we've got board and train programs. We've got private lessons. We've got virtual lessons. We're located in South Carolina and Texas. Booking now. booking training. We're making it more convenient for you, right? If you're in the central United States, western United States, we're making it easy for you. We got location, easy to access.
We're hooking you up.
In Texas, and then, like, let's say you travel from Arizona to Texas to drop off your dog for training. You can stop by the Dr. Pepper Museum, get a quick tour in,
Yeah.
and then go back home.
Yeah.
Right?
Easy.
No factor. So let us know what you need. info@caninerevolutiondogtraining.com is the email. Phone number 843-213-2676. You can also message us on your favorite social media platform. We'll get back with you, help you out, whatever you need. We've also got Canine Revolution apparel.
Oh, yeah.
Which right now I'm wearing a good-to-go beanie. Chris has a Canine Revolution apparel beanie on.
Winter is here.
Winter's here. We told you many, many episodes ago, winter's coming, winter's here. So if you don't have your winter gear
the Stark
yet,
words stand true.
if you don't have your winter gear yet, you need it now.
Well, Erin's got the hoodie on.
Now. Right. She's got the Canine
This is
Revolution
dog
hoodie
training.
on. So go on to the Canine Revolution apparel on Amazon or YouTube now.
Yeah.
Or one of our other, just go to a link below, Canine Revolution apparel. Click it, get you a beanie, get you a hoodie, get you what you need.
Good Christmas presents, too. You got Christmas coming up.
Christmas presents. Also, be on the lookout. Hellhound shirt.
Dude,
Hellhound shirt.
I'm fired up about that.
Yeah, I want to get that going.
That's cool. Like a jacked bully.
Black.
Blacked out,
black
red
dog.
eyes.
Black dog, red eyes.
A little bit of drool
Giant-
coming down.
Giant fangs.
It's growling.
I wonder what it's going to look like.
Hellhound.
We'll drop some concepts.
Right. Are you saying it's going to be a Doberman?
Yeah.
Here we go.
It ain't going to be a Doberman. It's a Hellhound, dude.
Okay.
It's a black, mysterious dog. You don't know.
Right.
Could be a Dutch Shepherd. That's a dark colored dog.
Could be a shepherd. Yeah, could be a shepherd.
All right. So anyway, Canine Revolution apparel. Be on the lookout for new releases. You never know when they're coming. But it's still October, which means it's still Nice Pitties month.
Yeah.
Nice
I was wearing
pitties.
my shirt this week.
I had my Nice Pitty shirt
I
on
got
this week, too.
stopped by my shirt.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
He said, "What's nice pitties mean?"
Ooh. Old guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got him.
I said, it's for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then his face was like,
It clicked.
It
He's
clicked.
like,
He's like, oh, you mean
He
nice
realized how
something
clever
else.
the
Oh, then
wording
he got
was.
real amped.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, then he wanted to change the subject.
What?
Yeah. He was felt like it was awkward now.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'll just check out,
These, strong religious Southerners.
Yeah.
That kind of crosses the line for them.
Yeah.
I like to cross the line.
That's why I wear mine to family events.
Yeah. I wear mine at church events.
Hey, it's awareness.
Nice pitties.
Yeah.
We're making it aware. All right, so check it out, Canine Revolution apparel. We've also got We Feed Raw, optimal food for your dog, optimal diet for your dog, what your dog needs. If you have a Hellhound, it definitely needs We Feed Raw.
It's probably getting that raw
needs
human diet, you know.
So you don't want
Yeah.
you don't want it to go the human route.
Right.
So you
give
keep
it the
it
good
on the We
stuff.
Feed Raw.
Hey,
optimal
that could be
route.
a good ad.
Yeah, it could be.
You don't want your dog to turn into a hellhound.
Don't let it eat you.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
Quench your hunger or
Right.
something.
You
Not
know
quench,
how
but
Feed
Black
the demon.
Rifle,
yeah.
You know how Black Rifle does plays on
Yeah.
their new products, whatever. We can definitely do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We definitely do that. We need to do that.
They're
We
going to
need
contact us like, hey,
Like, guys, you gotta stop.
We're doing ads for We Feed Raw. We're doing ads for them.
They're like, we did not approve this.
Yeah.
So get your Hellhound some We Feed Raw. Make sure it's good to go. Optimal diet, right? Discount code Canine Revolution, all caps, no spaces, 25% off. It's a subscription-based program. They ship it to you. You can cancel at any time, but you won't.
Yeah.
Right, you won't. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Canine Super Supplements, the letter K, the number 9, Super Supplements. We've got the puppy formula, which can be for puppies or adult dogs. We've got the multivitamin. We've got the joint support. And we've got the weight gainer, right? All 4 of those combination, you're 100%. But if you had to pick one, pick the joint support. That's what your dog needs.
Mm-hmm.
You can give a couple scoops to your dog, a couple scoops to you. Now you're both good to go, right? Both good.
Put it in your protein shake.
And it tastes good and it smells good.
Yeah,
right. All the
definitely.
It
above.
does smell good.
Yeah.
So check it out, caninesupersupplements.com. Discount code Canine Revolution, all caps, no spaces, 10 or 15% off. That one's 15%.
Yeah.
That's a big
That's
discount.
a big discount. Yeah.
And you will see changes in your dog.
Oh, yeah.
You will see the benefit. Legit, you'll see it happening. And let's say you can't get on the raw train, the raw diet train, because of budgetary concerns. You get on the Canine Super Supplements, you're going to be boosting boosting that shit kibble you're feeding your dog.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna be boosting the shitty kibble.
Yeah.
Right? So good to go. Last but not least, we got JockoFuel. Discount code Canine Revolution, all caps, no spaces, 10% off. They got what you need. They got the clean energy drinks. They got the milk protein, which you can also give to your dog. Confirmed. You
take your dog's supplements. They take your supplements.
Right.
It's all
you can put
good.
a scoop of milk in your dog's food anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you have a kid,
Confirmed.
you know Kevin's about to have a baby. I told him, dude, put the milk in
I've
the
been
breast
on that
milk.
train.
Put the milk in the breast milk,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Your baby will be jacked.
Oh,
Mix it,
that's when
right?
you got a kid that's just constantly thinking about eating all day.
Yeah.
He's like, apple.
Yeah, that's Nico. He's on the milk. Nico's
Get them on the milk. They're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are like, chocolate milk. I'm like, okay, chocolate milk.
Yeah, they don't know.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah, you think it's that Hershey's? Nah, it's that Jocko.
Which they've got the milk ready to drink, so I just hand the kid that. Boom, down the
Nice.
hatch. Kid's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, muscle, no factor.
Also, your kid's like, cookie. Get him a milk cookie.
Yeah, Jackson
Milk
loves
cookie.
the cookies.
Here's a cookie for you, kid. Protein.
Boom.
Right? Boom.
Next thing you know, they're
Kid
slamming
jacked.
pull-ups like it's nothing.
That's right. Push-ups, pull-ups, no factor.
Easy.
Easy day, right? So anyway, check it out, JockoFuel. I will say I traveled recently. You know I took that Cold War with me.
Oh, yeah.
You know I took that testosterone optimizer with me.
Yeah.
You know I took that Jocko Time War with me, right? The triple stack.
Well, funny you should say that. I went home yesterday from work.
Uh-huh.
My fiance saying she doesn't feel good. She's feeling icky. You know what I
Did you give her the
do?
Cold War?
I pop Cold War for myself.
Yeah. You're on your own.
Yeah. You're already sick.
He's already comfortable.
You're already sick. I'm doing
Yeah.
preventative Cold War
If
measures.
you're sick, you need to be on the triple Cold War,
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And
super dose it.
I woke up this morning. I'm not sick.
Right.
Because I'm on Cold War.
You got to stay on it. You got to
Yeah.
stay
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, I
and
gotta
make
take it one later when I
until
get
the
home.
sickness is gone.
Yeah.
Until the risk of sickness has been alleviated, then you can back off
Yeah.
the Cold War.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're traveling, definitely make sure that's in your pack.
Yeah.
Right? Cold War. You want that with you because when you're traveling is when you're at risk.
Yep.
Because you're out of your routine. You're not eating your normal diet. Right? So your body, it's protectiveness, it's defense diminished.
It's literally warfare on germs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War. Immunity defense.
We're taking the fight to them.
Immunity support. Right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All
Right?
right.
So anyway, check it out, JockoFuel.com. You won't be disappointed. You'll be optimized. You'll be good to go. All right. Also, I know that they don't do the affiliates anymore, but Origin USA,
Dude.
American made, American sourced products. Ben,
I got my
Chris,
Origin jeans on.
me, we're all wearing the Delta 68s right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Well, I got the factory
Oh, okay.
because I'm a little heavy duty right now. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
Heavy duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to stay warm.
Are
So
those
we got
non-stretch?
the
Yeah.
Made in America jeans on. You know who else is wearing these jeans? Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, he's in Waco already.
Yeah.
He's the recon element for Waco, Canine Revolution. He's got the Origin
He's
jeans.
the scouting
Boots on
party.
the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Kevin in the Origin jeans yesterday.
Oh.
Yep.
I haven't seen him this morning, so I don't know what he's wearing. We
I
got
don't know.
Danny. His are incoming. Danny's
He's gotta
gonna
earn
get
it.
Danny's
He's
got to
gotta-
earn his Origins. Yeah. Right?
He has to put him on in the
Right.
front leading rest position, and then he hears.
But if you're going to support yourself, you're going to support America, you're going to get some Origin product. Right? So check it out, originusa.com. They don't do affiliates anymore. We used to be an affiliate. They don't do the affiliates anymore. But
that's
we
okay.
still support
It's
them.
still good.
We still support them,
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
Actually, someone was asking what is Chris's headbands that he wears. I said Origin.
I don't think it is.
Well,
send
send
it
him to Origin anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Origin.
Yeah. You'll get what you need from Origin.
Well, I'll tell you what. Literally, the only clothes I wear, literally,
We
Like
know
that.
what you
You
wear.
wanna
Chris. We know what you wear.
Canine Revolution, Origin,
Yep.
little bit of NFQ.
Yep.
Little bit of
yeah,
NFQ, right?
Confirmed.
Confirmed. That's it.
That's definitely
all I have.
confirmed. That's definitely confirmed.
You know, I was just on vacation. If you look at the pictures, guess what?
he's wearing his Revolution.
Dude, so is Chris. Chris is
You see
posting
my
family
cruise pics,
pictures
bro?
on
Yeah.
I'm
cruise.
eating ice cream and it was Friday, by the way, and I was in my
You were
red.
in red. I saw that.
I
dude.
was-
I saw that. I was like,
Did
it
not
doesn't
deviate.
get. It doesn't get more hardcore than that.
I did
You
not
guys are
eat it.
hardcore.
On Thursday, I wore blue.
You know?
I didn't know. I didn't see your cruise pictures.
Oh yeah, he's
So I
got
didn't-
all the
Yeah.
carabiners still on him.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's here. He's
He's
bait
ready to
bag.
operate.
He took his bait bag.
Yeah.
No,
You
he
never
didn't.
know. Hey, we went to
No.
Grand Turk. There's wild dogs.
You did
never
bring your
know.
big bag?
You
Yeah.
trained him.
You never
train
know.
him.
You might. And I mean, look. There's
Hey,
some.
give it to the little kids. Here's some hot dogs.
You got
Yeah.
to.
Well,
but
I
He's
was.
literally-
It was
he's-
didn't have hot
he's
dogs. I was
luring
taking things
the
from the
kids.
buffet.
Yeah.
Like the little
Putting it in the
sausages,
bake
the
bag for
breakfast
later.
sausages, putting it in there. We're going out to Grand Turk. There's going to be wild dogs. I'm feeding the dogs, feeding the donkeys.
Big bag for yourself.
For me.
See, on my vacation, I had Canine Revolution apparel and Canine Revolution dog training.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Right. So like, the
Why?
day
Why
that
would you not? What else is there to wear?
we climbed up to the highest peak in Hawaii,
yeah.
and
Hawaii.
guess who I took up there with me?
Bobby
Your
Joe.
kids?
Bobby Joe.
Oh.
I
Dude.
didn't
The
see
Bobby
that.
Joe shirt to the
R.I.P.
peak.
R.I.P. Baby.
You know why? Because Hawaii, lots of chickens.
Yeah.
No, that
I'm
is
like
true.
Bobby Joe, the ultimate chicken,
Tribute.
the ultimate rooster. I took him to the peak with me, his spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
His
saying?
his entity.
Confirmed, dude.
That's confirmed, Bobby
Long
Joe.
live Bobby Joe, bro.
He got up to the
Did
top.
you
He's
take
like,
his spirit up there to rest?
I took
crowed.
his spirit up there, not to rest, but to share it with the Hawaiian
Yeah.
chickens.
Yeah.
The Hawaiian
Yeah.
chickens had to
Yeah.
know about Bobby Joe.
Yeah. They were
Ain't
like,
no
yeah,
rooster
season
like
that
it.
Bobby Joe with some pineapple right there. Good
Yeah,
chicken
yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
So anyway, all right, back on track here. Check it out, guys.
We went way
Canine
off
Revolution
on that
dog training, Canine Revolution apparel, We Feed Raw, Canine Super Supplements, JockoFuel, Origin USA. Check it out. Support yourself, support your dog, support your family, and let's get after it.
Support your ghosts.
So, again, let us know your feedback, rate us, review us, and we'll see you guys next time. This is Pack Talk Podcast. Out.